and welcome to Respect the Crait. I'm your host and game master, Ian Duncan. My pronouns are he, him. I am joined, as always, by some great people. Firstly, the one, the only, Jamie Lee-Bonés.
The only? I actually don't know if anybody out there shares my name. I should find that out. Yes, hello, I am Jamie. She, her. I play LO, they, them, the modified medical droid.
You know, the first time I heard someone say my name, and I realized there were other Ians in the world, I was really, really young, but it blew my mind. It was in a bathroom somewhere. Some dad was like, "Come on, Ian, let's go." And I was like, What?
Who are you?
Where?
Who are you?
You're
sir?
not my dad, sir. Also joining us, another one of the ones and onlys. In fact, probably, and I don't think this is contested, probably the only Alex in the world, Alex Herrera.
Hi, I'm Alex, and I play Beegax Botano, the Doug Slicer. Both of us are he/hims. And yeah, I'm the only Alex in the universe, actually. I checked, and there are no other ones.
I don't think there's, and if there are, they're not of note. So
no, they're all fake.
Mm-hmm. I think there was some kind of great conqueror, but that was Alexander. That's a whole another thing.
Oh no, yeah, that's me.
Oh, that was you. Oh,
yeah,
that,
me,
that was incredible work, man. Wow.
Thank you. A lot of work. Macedonia wasn't gonna fix itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then when I did not exist in that timeline anymore, all my sons destroyed all my hard work, as family does.
Yep, that's family. That's family for you. You know, what can you do? That's your legacy. Hey, you got no control over it. Well, speaking of legacy, is that the right way to transition? I don't know.
It is now.
I guess it is now. Let's look to a legacy of our fearless fringers and get into what they're gonna do next. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Episode 42, High Ground. It's been a long journey for our fearless fringers as they explore an ancient and uncharted region of wild space. They've learned very quickly that even though the planet Lehon no longer hosts civilization, it is still abundant with new, or perhaps very old, life. After getting acquainted with some of the local flora and fauna, LO, Beegax, and their crew continue their search for the Chadra Fan slicer Chai across the surface of this long-forgotten world.
Our camera pans over from dense, tangled foliage of a thick, vibrant jungle. Ropey, wet vines, enormous leaves, and colorful flowers fill the area with a pungent aroma. An exotic and alien fragrance, exciting and dangerous, lingering heavily in the humid air. Looking as if they were stranded in a verdant sea, our fearless fringers stand panting by an enormous, defeated, carnivorous plant, now oozing a sticky green liquid, thick and heady with scent. Some of them are covered in this viscous fluid, much to the delight of an alien primate creature hooting and whooping from the branches above them, the sounds of this creature echoing high into the canopy and carried by the flocks of flying animals escaping into the sweltering air above. What would you like to do?
Aloe is going to shake their arms to get this ooze off, and it's just gonna like mud almost, just like slops to the ground. Ooh, I kind of want to be salty. I'm gonna be a little salty. Aloe's gonna look towards Creed and Burse and linger on Burse a little. I'm doing fine. How is everyone else? And it's gonna start to take out their medical supplies to sort of begin to fix up. I think especially Creed took quite a bit of damage.
Oh yeah, I'm fine, I'm just sticky. But, that's normal.
Beegax kind of scratches his chin.
Nah, sticky's not exactly normal, but I guess we are standing in copious amounts of plant goo.
And he looks around. And then he suddenly gets this fearful thought of like, did Chai meet these things? Like, there's no way. Like, he could not have survived this if he fought these things.
Well, there is I'll say this, amidst the dying vines and the green goo, there is a pile of bones around this plant that was there when you first discovered this monstrosity.
Beegax immediately runs to the bones. And he kind of goes, no. And kind of like starts looking for Skull, because that's the only way I think he'd be able to identify a Chadra Fan from anything else. It's a small little mouse skull.
Yeah, you could give me a xenology roll. Let's call it a hard check because it's just the bones.
Yeah, makes sense. Wow, where were you guys? 4 success, 3 threat.
Let me think what that threat is.
Where's our ape friend?
Oh yeah, where's
That could be the threat. I don't know. Maybe he's getting friends.
He's throwing
you know
dookie
what?
at us.
I like I like that, Jamie. That's pretty good. Yeah. None of these bones look like they would be Chadra Fan. And you hold up one of the skulls here to examine it, and as you do, this ape creature is just like whoop 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 whoop, like making this noise, and it jumps down from its perch onto Beegax's back and take a strain for me.
Oh no! Stop! I have a stressful job.
You get pounced on by this ape, and in fact, as you're like holding this skull up, you can kind of like, it kind of has the same shape a little bit as this ape creature. You could almost see this skull fitting inside the head of this rambunctious little buddy here.
Okay, so he's on my back, and I have this thing I'm holding. Ah, come on! And then as I see it, I look at it, and he's like, I assume he's like right over my like right shoulder.
Yeah, you look at it, and you get a real big nose full of it. Like a real good sniff of it.
Smells like poop and fur and wet dog mixed all together. This thing eat your friends? And I point to the skull, and I point to it as it's on my back.
It like climbs down off your back and still making that noise, like that whoop 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 whoop, like almost loudly now, as if it is taking part in your victory. And it begins to pick the flowers, these like beautiful multicolored flowers that have wilted off of the vines of this dead plant.
Ooh.
I put the skull back respectfully, kind of like just whisper, "Hey, sorry, other monkeys."
What's he doing with these flowers? Can I check out the flowers and see if they're anything cool?
Yeah, absolutely. So you go and you're like, you fix up Creed, you like slap some plaster on him or something, and he's like,
Oh, thanks, Doc.
Verse looks at you and just raises her eyebrow and goes, grenades? Really?
It got the job done.
Could have given us a heads up, that's all I'm saying.
Next time I'll be sure to shout, "Grenade!"
She just like gives you a little bit of a stink eye and like turns back over to Creed to make sure he's okay. And you want to check out these flowers, right?
Yeah, just to see if maybe I can identify or see what this ape is doing with them. What is he eating them? Like, is he collecting them?
This ape is collecting them, like picking them and gathering them, and just like whoop 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 whoop, like really intent on it. He seems to be like dipping his finger inside of it and like rubbing it around his mouth.
Weird.
Is this like cocaine? What is this?
I was just thinking, like, is this like a drug?
Yeah, what's he doing with this stuff?
Can I roll something to see if I can identify these plants?
Absolutely, you can. Let's see. What's probably the best roll? I want to call it xenology. I guess you could make a case that it's outer rim, though that's still an inner intellect. Could be education, too. I'd say maybe xenology or education. We'll call it an average roll.
3 threats. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's odd behavior to be sure, but yeah, I imagine like Elo goes and like picks a flower, and they're very beautiful, and they don't seem to be, now that they are sort of severed from the plant that they were growing off of, they don't seem to be like actively moving or seeking anything out. But it is a very beautiful flower. It's sticky on the inside.
Elo's gonna pick it and then hand it over to Beegax.
He looks at it.
Hey, what am I supposed to do with this?
It's for you, a pretty flower.
Oh. Thanks.
He doesn't know what to put it, so he just like puts it in his pocket.
Okay.
Taps it like, all right.
Thanks, Elo.
I don't get a flower? I did really good.
You did, Creed, and Ella will pick Creed a flower and hand it over to him as well.
Thank you. This one's pretty. This one's, I think it's even prettier than Beegax's.
Yeah, probably is. I mean, I just smushed it in my pocket, so... It's the thought, for me, it's the thought, the sentiment more than the actual physicality of the flower. I just realized that these implants make me sound really smart. I'm using big words that I don't normally use.
It's the adrenaline.
Oh, yeah.
Creed puts it behind his ear. Obram is like, these are amazing. I have no idea what they are. I have never seen anything like this before. And what odd behavior that this creature is exhibiting. He just seems like so intent, like he's getting a library boner about everything that's going on here. And yeah, this ape is kind of like into getting these flowers, and once it has pretty much all of them that it can have, it begins to like head into the jungle.
Are we supposed to follow it? I forgot. Is he gonna take us somewhere?
I'm unsure. He does seem to like you, however.
Okay. All right, let's go, folks.
We're gonna follow this thing into the jungle?
We're gonna follow this monkey, yeah.
Fascinating. I can't wait.
Were we following something before?
You were following this thing. It did seem to lead you to this plant.
Oh, maybe it's not a good idea to follow. Following it. Hold on. Yeah, Beegax, remember.
Wow, wait.
But we don't know where Chai is.
Yeah, let's stop here.
He's gonna pull the group.
Should we follow the monkey?
I would like to follow the ape.
Okay, that's one for following the monkey. Thank you, Obram.
Why? Versus just like, why are we following this thing? That makes no sense.
All right, one against. Thank you, Verse. Hello?
If we don't have any leads on where your friend might be, it seems to be the only option at this point.
Wow, surprising. 2 for the monkey. Creed?
I like monkeys.
Creed, buddy.
All right.
He looks at Verse.
I mean...
She just does that thing where she's just like shaking her head and like just like biting her tongue behind her lips, like, what is happening?
Beegax shrugs.
Democracy's a beautiful thing.
He has his gun out, though. He's not going to put it away. He has the disruptor pistol out. He's prepared this time.
Hello, Fringers, Spacers, Scum, Villainy, and the Rebel Alliance. Thanks again for joining me in the mid-roll. Only have a few announcements here, so it should be real quick, and then we'll get you back into the episode. Bit of a shorter one this time. Hope you don't mind. That's just kind of how it shook out in the editing, so thanks for understanding. Firstly, it's been brought to our attention that there is a severe blood shortage and a need for eligible donors. If you are healthy and able, please consider donating blood or plasma to help alleviate this shortage in our hospitals, emergency rooms, and clinics across the country. Donations can be done through the Red Cross organization, and you can make appointments for your nearest blood donation center through redcrossblood.org. Link to that is in the episode description. And thank you to Dasheiks in our Discord for the awareness and information. And just a heads up, we only have one more episode of our Star Wars story before we put that on hold and begin our Fallout campaign. Alex Herrera is going to be our GM and guide through this new universe, and we've invited friends of the show, Xavier Trudeau-Deschênes and Susan Spinator, to join us in the wastelands of post-apocalyptic America to tell a story using the brand new official Fallout RPG system by Modifius Entertainment. And it gets better. We've teamed up with the generous people at Modifius to give away some very cool stuff during our Fallout adventure, including digital and physical copies of the new official Fallout tabletop RPG. We'll be giving away stuff for the length of the campaign, so don't miss out. There'll be plenty of chances to take home this very cool new game system and tell your own Fallout stories. More on that and how to enter to win later. We'll be posting it on our socials and announce it here in the mid-roll as we get closer to that release. So thank you very much to our friends at Modifius, and thank you listeners for continuing to download our show, rate and review, and leave us your feedback. That's it. Now let's get back to the episode. You follow this ape creature further into the jungle.
Does he seem to mind that we're following him?
No, that's what you notice, is he doesn't seem to be paying attention to you at all.
Oh.
When, like,
Okay.
it seems in contrast to the first time that you followed this creature, like, it seemed to be stopping, waiting for you to catch up, and doing that. Now it just seems to be, like, trailblazing. It typically takes a route through the branches when it can, like, up above, but yeah, it doesn't really seem to be minding much that you're even following it. You begin to hear water, and there is what looks like an outcropping up into this rainforest. There seems to be like a waterfall sort of like pouring down into it is a meandering creek at best. But there is this like water feature that's maybe a story or two up, and seems to be providing fresh water to what looks like a gathering of these creatures. They are mostly sitting around. There's a lot of nests in trees. It looks like they've built a lot of their settlement like in these sort of like big nests in the branches. Yeah, and there's like young ones that are clinging to the red fur of their parents. Some are eating, some are like sniffing each other and like pulling out parasites off of each other. And there are a group of them that seem to be sitting amongst these flowers, like heaps of these flowers dead and dried, and they seem real out of it and like disassociating. And this one that you followed goes over to that group and sort of like lays out a bunch of flowers and begins dipping into them and like rubbing stuff around its mouth. And yeah, these creatures regard you, but they don't seem to be making any moves against you or anything like that.
Well, yeah, they're stoned. I don't care.
Yeah, Beegax puts his gun away. He like holsters it in the side holster.
Oh man, I've never seen apes that use drugs before. This is new.
This could be a new species entirely. We could be discovering something for the very first time here. We have a chance to make history in the galaxy.
Well, if I took stock on who got paid more, pirates or explorers, I would venture to say pirates.
Oh, you're quite right. Though they are both likely very dangerous professions.
And he points back.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the flower we just fought?
I wonder if any more are growing. I wonder if it can get any bigger. Was that the smallest or was that the biggest one? Oh, Lehon is so full of mysteries.
You know, some mysteries I'd rather keep mysteries, Obram, and meeting any more Mr. Plant Pods or Mrs. Plant Pods, it's not on my list.
And he'll like kind of nod to Obram regarding the conversation, like, hey, like, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And then he'll walk slowly towards the grouping of stoned apes around the plants, but he's gonna like get down to their level. I assume they're a little bit shorter than him. Or no, they actually probably be the same as him.
Yeah,
he's
they
a little stout.
they ambulate on their hands and crouched over. They're about the same size as Beegax.
Yeah, so he'll get down to their level a little bit. It doesn't require that much, and then he'll go to where they're at the circle. Not being a part of the circle, but being like maybe a foot behind the one that they followed. And they'll be like,
Hey, Red.
and if he doesn't pay attention, he's gonna pick up a rock and kind of lightly toss it at him to get his attention.
It looks over to you like whoop, 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 whoop. Its eyes are real dilated.
Oh no. I've had this conversation before. Hey, I wasn't here last class. Do you have any notes?
When we're the only sober one at the party is how I feel.
Yeah,
like
that's another
the crew
one.
of the wave is right now.
DD. You're the DD.
Yeah.
I'm like, are you guys hungry? And they just look at you like, yeah. Okay, anyways. I'll look at Red, as I've named him.
Oh, you're not gonna be any help.
He'll like mimic, like pointing to surrounding himself with his hands, like,
Me.
and then make a circle. Like, is there any more of me here? Basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, okay. Make a persuasion check.
I'm hoping maybe this drug makes him more elevated.
Negotiation, I'm sorry.
Negotiation. Oh, well, I did take a level in negotiation, my friend.
So let's call it an average. Well, actually, I think it's an average check, but I think there's a black die because this guy is high as a kite. And I think there's another black die because
Oh, no.
you're trying to speak with another species, basically.
Yeah. If not, we're leaving. We're getting out of here. I don't want to be here when they come down. Three failures. 3 failures and a threat.
Yeah, it just it just farts and it smells real bad. Whoop 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 whoop.
Okay. Thank you very much.
I could do a little bow.
I appreciate your time. You're welcome for killing the plant.
Can I add in a thing? If you will allow, Alex, please feel free to say no. Can it just, like, shove one of these flowers into Beegax's face?
Oh, that's fine. That will work. That's okay.
Yeah, it shoves a flower. It's not enough to like get any stuff on you, but yeah, that's it. That's very good,
It's
Jamie.
like, join me.
Yeah,
join
just like
me.
it holds out this flower to you. Yeah, in response,
That's fine. But he just shoves it in his face, and then he's like,
it's like a really thick, heady, like syrupy smell almost. Maybe you get some pollen on your nose, some stick on your nose.
oh, he just kind of like, just to get out of his snout.
Yeah. Thanks, friend. I'll see you around, Red.
He'll turn around to the group.
Okay.
Are we done talking to the apes now?
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, we're done. But I did think of something.
And he's gonna look up at the waterfall.
That's higher ground. We should get a good view from up there.
Finally, a good idea.
What? Finally, what?
I look at Elo.
What? What?
At least now we have some sort of idea of what to do next.
Oh, so you're not on my side either? Okay, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
After you, Verse like gestures up the waterfall.
I look at it,
You don't suppose one of these could carry me?
and as he talks, he looks before finishing his sentence and sees that I'm just gonna assume more have joined this circle of plants, and I've just started like rubbing. And I want to say, if I can, that there's this like it turns their lips not green but like yellow, because it's like a mixture of colors. It's just like this weird yellow tinge on their mouth, like.
Yeah, and it's like changing their drool a little bit, and you can see them drooling. You notice too, like, you notice they're like really high, but like this group that's joining in, there's like some of them are like finger painting, and some of them are like sharpening sticks and stuff. Like they look real high, but they're like they're doing stuff.
That's very. I mean, to Alex, that's like holy shit. That's super interesting because they're basically speeding evolution up right here in front of us. Or like
cognition is increasing. But to Beegax, he's like, I don't want to be around when they have those sharpened sticks any sharper. But you know what he will do? He'll look at the drawings. If there's any drawings like on rocks, I'm envisioning them on the ground and some on like almost like rocks that appear to be canvases, right? Just like on the sides.
Yeah.
If there's any, I want to see if there's any pictures of like recent visitors, like depicted like, oh, a ship landed or something.
Oh, that's super interesting. Roll me the destiny die.
What?
Come
Oh, I love
the
it.
rules have already cursed us. 2 light side points.
Woo!
Amongst these drawings that are incredibly crude, I mean in design, not in content.
Maybe in content a little bit.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
There aren't any stories here, like being told with this. It's like handprints, yeah, and like faces and things like that. But among them looks like a ship. Unmistakable, looks like a ship. And there is a face next to it. Next to this ship. That looks totally different than these ape creatures. Whereas their faces are more like primates, you know? The head, the face painted by this ship is like tall and thin, sort of almost like a fin, and coming off of the sides of it are like bulbous eyes on stalks.
Okay.
Beegax sees this. Ha! He'll look for any ape that's not. Well, maybe. Do I want one that's high or not? Because it seems like when they're higher, they're doing stuff. Maybe I want a normal one. I'm not gonna get a high one. I'm gonna look for one that's not high. Beegax will kind of tap it. Hey! Any nearby one doesn't have the paint or whatever on their mouth, and then he'll point to the drawing. Where's that? And he'll point to the drawing and then point, like, in random directions. Where?
Roll me another negotiation check. Same difficulty, so average 2 black die. Well, we'll give you 1 black die since you...
Thanks. It's still difficult. One success, sorry, and 3 threats.
So you point to this thing, and at first it, like, grabs at your arm and starts, like, picking at it like one might pick, like, fleas or something, and just like whoom, 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 whoom. But the more fervent you are pointing at this thing, you can see sort of recognition in its eyes a little bit. It looks up at you and just like lifts up one of its 4 long meaty arms and points up beyond the waterfall.
And Beegax, elated, just goes, finally. And he'll grab whatever rations he have and just like put it in front of the monkey, the ape. You've earned it.
It takes it and strolls away, or ambulates away on its hands, breaks it up, and starts giving it to the young.
Oh, I feel good. Beegax feel good about that. He was like, yes. Okay. Yeah, let's climb. We got a heading.
Got it. So yeah, you look up to this escarpment that looks like it could get to higher ground, and it looks climbable for sure. Like I said, there's a waterfall trickling down. There's lots of like jungle growth that has overgrown rocks and moss and vines and that kind of thing. So let's call it an average athletics check for the both of you to roll.
I got 1 failure, 2 threats, unfortunately.
Climbing up here is a strain on LO's machine parts. It's perhaps that medical droids and protocol droids and all the kinds of droids that LOR is not a climbing droid. So take 1 strain. But you do successfully make it onto the top of this outcropping.
One success, one threat, my friend.
It's quite a climb. You're able to get up there, but yeah, Beegax, even though Doug are like built and brawny, Beegax is a sedentary lifestyle mostly.
Those ramen.
That ramen and that RC Cola. You all make it, and yeah, I think what you see as you pull each other up to the top of this area, looking down, you see this sort of like in the trees below you, these ape creatures living their lives out, and the water seems to be trickling down out through a bunch of rocks somewhere up here, and you make your way further up through the vegetation that is growing all over this higher ground. And as you part the leaves and the vines and the moss, you see out somewhere, standing out among over tops of some of these trees, you are able to make out the signs of a plume of dark smoke and a large statue, an elongated face, sort of like a fin, with two bulbous eyes sticking out of stalks, staring like a dead god through the canopy of trees. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Respect the Crait Empire's Edge. If you like what you heard, please consider supporting us by giving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. It's easy, free, and helps other people learn about the show. And we love reading your feedback. For more information about the show, visit @RespectTheCrit on Twitter and Instagram. Or come chat with us on our official Discord server. Beegax is played by Alex Herrera, who you can find on Twitter @AE Herrera or on his Twitch channel, WadeWolf10. LO is played by Jamie Lee-Bonés, who you can find on Instagram @jamielee.bones. I'm Ian Duncan, your GM and MC, and you can find me @idunks on Twitter and Instagram. The original music featured in this episode is provided with license or permission by a variety of talented artists, whose information and credits are linked in the show notes. Please support them by visiting their platforms to check out more of their work, and tell them how much you like their music in our show. The Star Wars role-playing system is published by Fantasy Flight Games. And remember, whatever the system, whether it's a miss or a hit, you always gotta respect the crit. Thank you very much, and may the Force be with you. There's nothing at the end, there's nothing at the end. We don't have a post-credit sequence or anything funny that we recorded. So it's just me talking at the end over this music that I got off a website that is royalty-free and copyright-free, so enjoy it for free. There's no Alex, there's no Jamie, there's no wit, and absolutely no charm at all. It's just me. You made it this far to the end of the episode, and all you got was this. A very good rap, and no, it's not good. It's bad. Me at the end, alone in my apartment, sweating in my pajamas, recording nothing. This is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. I don't know what even this is. This is garbage here at the end. It's not about Star Wars, not about the show or anything. You just have me. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm very sorry that this is what you have to hear at the end. It doesn't even rhyme. And that's kind of a crime. You spent the time to download this and listen all the way to the end. Now you have to listen to this, and I bet you're sitting there just waiting. Maybe it'll get better here, but it doesn't. it doesn't get better. It's just this all the way through, and it's awful, and it's terrible, and I'm sorry, and I'm really sorry. But that's what you get. Me desperately trying to make content and make it entertaining, and I seem to be failing at that. Why? Why are you still here? Why haven't you shut this off or turned off your iPhone or your podcast device or whatever you have? Why are you still listening to this? I bet you're hoping that there's something that makes it worth it. Well, I've got news for you. It doesn't. There's nothing here. There really isn't anything here, and I'm so very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't have anything that we recorded that was funny enough. There's no content. It's garbage. It's just garbage. That's what you get when you listen to Respect the Crit.